we're very close, but as individuals, we have different personalities.
There's a lot of things I admire about both my brothers. I mean, I admire Morris's spirit, his cooperative attitude to everything we do. Morris is a sort of the permanent middleman.
I think I'm in between, really. I'm sort of like the bouncing pad, if you like, from both brother. And sometimes I'm the middle guy, you know, that may have to do something because they haven't quite made up their minds about it, and I'll make the majority vote or whatever. But I would say, yeah, Robin's a warrior.
I think I tend to be a little bit more analytical about things, probably too analytical.
Well, Robin is more of an introvert, I think. He's more into himself. He's not as outrageous as, say, I am sometimes.
Morris has got a terrific spirit and a great sense of humor. And then I'd have to go on if I said Robin has an exceptional sense of humor.
I think Barry is very sensitive, very, very warm person, very sensitive and gentle, and he's a peace. Likes to keep the peace. Doesn't like to argue too much. You know, likes to sort of, he likes to. I wouldn't say because he would let anything go or just agree for the sake of it, but he doesn't like too much trouble. So he's given a very, very creative person.
And we've been very fortunate enough to be gifted with something that we've worked and molded, if you like, and people love. When that happens, the satisfaction is unparalleled. As to what great moments there were in your career. The first time, I'll never forget this, was on a stage at Revolve, and it was one of those groups who were about to finish in the front in England, and we were on stage ready to go around as the stage turned. And as we did, Dick Ashby, our personal manager, ran up on stage and said, "It's just gone to #1." And that was the worst show we ever did. Everybody was so overjoyed and over the moon, they didn't care what we did. You know, so we just played and played.
Something's telling me I must go home. And the lights all went down in Massachusetts. And Massachusetts is one place.
I don't think there's any jealousy amongst the three of us because we're all out, as I said, the same thing. If somebody sings a particular song, it's because it's best for them. Best for their voice. It's always down to the song in the end.
Well, to come out in England was New York Mining Disaster, it was released in 1967. It first came out, everyone thought it was the Beatles under a different name, because it started off with a B and ended with an S. So Beatles, BeeGees. So they thought, it's the Beatles under a different name. When it was released in America, a radio station in Pasadena played the death out of it and said it was the Beatles under a different name.
Have you seen my wife, Mr. Jones? Do you know what it's like on the outside? Don't go talking too loud, you cause a landslide, Mr. Jones.
And it wasn't until the follow-up single, To Love Somebody, came out that everybody realized that we do exist. We are a real group.
In 1970, we split up for about 15 months.
It was almost like dissolving, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Everything just sort of came to a halt. What happened was, it was a sort of clash of egos.
It's something that happens to you when you first become famous. You lose control of yourself, you spend too much money, you think that every word you say is a philosophical gem.
And you forget the reasons and the feelings that you had when you first wanted to do it.
Yeah. You think that everyone's hanging on every word you have to say, and you lose control, basically. And what happened to us, if I may go on, is that we...
Please.
Thank you. Is that we lost fame by breaking up, and then by the cycle itself, we found fame again. And by doing that, we learned an awful lot about what happens to you when you get famous. And we lost a lot of our friends when we became famous for the first time. But the people that were really close to us stayed with us, even though we went down. And the people that weren't there because they cared about us took off because they thought that was the end of the group.
I think the time off, we had time to realise we got back the feelings that we had when we first started out and wanted to make it again. And then I think we sorted it out.
And the thing was that the first thing we did when we got back together again was cut 2 songs, and one was Lonely Days and How Can You Mend a Broken Heart. And Lonely Days was to become our first #1 in America.